Did you know that there is something more valuable than money? Do you know what it is? Now, I know you didn't say gold or silver or diamonds because, no, that's not it. There is something that is absolutely more valuable than money. And here's the thing. What is more valuable than money? You have it, and I have it. We both have it. Can you guess what it is? Can you guess what it is? If you said time, you are absolutely correct. Time is more valuable than money, and here's why. With money, you spend it, you give it away, you can always go get more, right? But with time, regardless of how you spend it, once you spend it, it's gone. You can't get the time spent back. You can't get the time wasted back. Time is constantly moving forward, and how we use our time matters. What we spend our time on matters. And who we spend our time with matters. We all get the same 24 hours. So, how do you spend your time? Do you lose it? Do you waste it? Is it stolen from you? I think now is a pretty good time to examine how we manage our time. Now listen, this is personal. It is individual for each person. We're going to work through this and look at our time, but here's the deal. You have to be honest about how you spend your time. I'm not going to know what your answers are, okay? And there is no right or wrong answer. Your 24 hours is your 24 hours. But if you're losing it somewhere, you need to know where you're losing it. If it's being stolen from you, you need to know where. If it's being wasted, you need to know how, so that you can make whatever changes is necessary. And so that's what we're going to be looking at. Therefore, guess what you're going to need for this course? You're going to need a pen and some paper. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the opportunity to go get pen and paper so that we could go through this course. This course should take no more than an hour. I'm only going to spend an hour of your time. That's it. And in the meantime, while you're going to get that pen and paper, I'm going to play this song. It's called God's Love, and this song is sung by my oldest son. And so I'm really grateful to be able to share it right now. God's Love by Khalil Kazi.
Don't let that temporary hurt make you feel feel sad. Don't let nobody put you down and make you feel bad. Don't let another person's disrespect get you mad. Stay in the present, you won't find the future in the past. The blessings coming could be the best you ever had. Could be somebody that'll treat you better than your last. The road to better is in front of you, just hit the gas. Get out your feelings, get the Bible, then get in your bag. You got so much potential, I believe in you. And I've been noticing the growth, that's that seed in you. You something special, I can tell Christ the King in you. You feel weak, start praying, that's what believers do. Isaiah 41:10, God's righteous right hand to make you stronger. Don't fear, you won't be broken again. Deuteronomy 6 verses 6 through 8, be strong and courageous, you don't have to be afraid. John 3:16, God loves you, just believe. Your sins like scarlet, he'll wipe the slate clean. Isaiah 1:18, the world can be mean. You feel brokenhearted, God will intervene. Psalms 34:18, and when you have anxiety, guess who there for you? 1 Peter 5:7, God cares for you. I'm trying to tell you, keep changing, angels clap for you. All them prophets wrote the Bible, it's a map for you, so you can find life like God wants you to. Real peace is real love that he got for you. What you see is temporary, it won't be like this forever. Keep getting yourself together, God promised something better for you. Real talk. You don't have to be good enough for a human, cause you're good enough for God. John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Revelations 21:4 through 5, and God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new. Right, for these words are faithful and true.
Thank you for joining me again for this new YouTube course entitled, Are You Robbing God? Time, Lost, Wasted, or Stolen. By now, you should have a piece of paper, a pen, or pencil, so let's get started. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do with your paper is you're going to number it from 1 to 24. The numbers represent the hours in the day. So you can either do it like in a straight line from 1 to 24. You could do it the opposite way, 24 to 1. You can even do it and separate it for your day hours and your evening hours. Remember, King Jesus said that there are 12 hours in the day. So you can do 1 to 12 and then write 1 to 12 again, and then on one side write AM and PM. So whatever works for you, go ahead and do that now. Go ahead and number your paper, and then we're going to get right into this. While you're numbering your paper, I want to share with you Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1 through 8. I'm going to read it from the Amplified Bible. That's the chapter that talks about how there is a time for everything. And because we are considering in-depth considering our time, I felt that this would be a fitting scripture to share at this point. So this is what it says. There is a season, a time appointed for everything, and a time for every delight and event or purpose under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot what is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to throw away stones and a time to gather stones. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. a time to search and a time to give up as lost, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear apart and a time to sew together, a time to keep silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. Again, that was Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1 through 8, and I read it from the Amplified Bible. Now, I want to start off by saying that it doesn't matter what time your day begins. For us here in America, our day begins or the new day begins at midnight, right? 12 midnight. But for Jews, the new day actually begins at 6 p.m. So regardless of what time your day begins, regardless of what time you start your day, regardless of that, we all have 24 hours. I think that we can all agree on the fact that sleep matters. And I think that we can all agree that we don't always get the full recommended amount of hours sleeping as we should. So sleep is very important, but sometimes we sacrifice our sleep on other things. For instance, a person who is in school might sacrifice their sleep to study. A person who is working, they might sacrifice their sleep if they are trying to work and go to school at the same time. If they are working 2 or 3 jobs, which there are some who do that. You know, there's a lot of different things that will cause us to sacrifice our sleep. And while sacrificing sleep is not optimal for our health, remember, it is a choice. What are some things that will cause you to lose sleep? I want you to think about it. What are some things that you have chosen to sacrifice your sleep for? As we're considering sleep, I want you to think about your day. Let's do this. Let's make it easy. Yes, there's 7 days in a week, but we're not going to think about the week. We're thinking about the actual 24 hours in the day. So let's consider yesterday, because that would be easy to think about yesterday, because it would be fresh in our minds. And remember, do not combine the days. But for this particular course, let's only look at yesterday. And then after a while, or in your spare time, I want you to think about each day individually. Just Monday, just Tuesday, just Wednesday, just Thursday, just Friday, just Saturday, and just Sunday. So on your papers that you have numbered from 1 to 24, however you chose to number it, I want you to mark off, start at the bottom. And what we're going to do is we're going to think about the hours that we spent sleeping. Now remember, you're allotted 8 hours of sleep. But if you don't sleep 8 hours, if you only sleep 4 hours, then cross off 4 hours. I would say that it's easier to start at 24 and then work your way up, and the reason why is because you can always look at that last number and see how much time you have left. So, but do it however works for you. I'm gonna mark mine too. How many times on an average, how many hours on an average, do you sleep? How many hours did you sleep from last night into today? What is your average? Mark those off. All right. By now, you have marked off on your chart the time spent sleeping. Now, for illustrative purposes, I'm going to share here a chart using the time allowances that are given in the 24 Hours book. Keep in mind that we are only filling out the chart based on your experiences spent yesterday. Also note that every day will be different. Some days you'll sleep more and other days you'll sleep less. That's okay. Now that we're marking our time off on the chart, let me ask you a question. When you wake up, what's the first thing that you do? Do you hit the snooze button? Do you reach for your cell phone? Do you turn on the radio or TV? What's the first thing that you do? What is your mindset like when you wake up? Do you wake up refreshed and ready to get the day started? Or do you wake up in a rush because you're running late? What you will mark next on your chart is how much time you spend on personal hygiene. Now, it's a known fact that women spend more time than men do in getting ready. Nevertheless, you're allotted 1 hour for personal hygiene. Now, this includes bathing, showering, doing your hair, brushing your teeth, getting dressed, for women putting on makeup. And listen, women, if you need extra time for personal hygiene, well, that's going to have to come out of your sleep time. Remember, we only have 24 hours. So that's right, any extra time that is needed will be deducted from your time to sleep. Also understand that this does not account for the time that you spend in the salon, getting your nails done, getting your hair done. That time actually will be deducted from other areas such as recreation. So get ready to deduct some more hours. So we have 15 hours left on our charts. You might have a little more, you might have a little less, depending on how much time you spent sleeping, as well as how much time you spent with the personal hygiene. But based on the chart, we have, or the chart using this book 24 hours. We have 15 hours left, and we're now about to consider the next thing that is going to take a big chunk of time out of our day. The next area where you're going to spend a lot of your time is either at work or at school. This is what the book 24 Hours say about that. Some sacrifice sleep to study so that they can have a career that they are happy with. Some struggle moving from job to job, just trying to pay bills that they have acquired and getting the things that they thought that they wanted. Jobs are demanding of our time. It will take more time from us over time if we let it. We sometimes blame others for our time spent, but no one can take from us what we don't choose to give. Remember that. Did you know that the Bible has a lot to say about work? I would like to share some of those scriptures with you now. This is Proverbs chapter 16, verse number 3. This is what it says. Commit your works to the Lord, and your thoughts will be established. This next verse is found in the book of Psalm. It is chapter 90, verse number 17. And it says, and let the beauty of the Lord our God be upon us, and establish the work of our hands for us. Yes, establish the work of our hands. Another verse for you. It's a really good one. It's Colossians chapter 3, verse number 23 and 24. This is what it says. And whatever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not to men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the reward of the inheritance, for you serve the Lord Christ. You got time for one more? Let's look at this next one. It is Proverbs chapter 12, verse number 24. It says, the hand of the diligent will rule, but the lazy man will be put to forced labor. The Bible even talks to us about the time that we spend working. I would like to share that with you. It's found in Exodus. Well, one of the areas is found in Exodus is chapter 20. And this is what it says. It's verses number 8 through 11. It says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall do no work. You, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested the 7th day. Therefore the Lord blessed the 7th day and hallowed it. Are you happy in your job? If you're not happy with your job, may I ask you a question? What makes you stay in a place where you're stressed out and unhappy? What hinders you from moving forward? What prevents you from looking for another position where you'll be happier? Considering how much time in your day that a job takes from you, don't you think it's worth it for you to work at a place that you really want to work at? In reference to this particular area of time management, the job, you are allotted 8 hours. If you work part-time, only write down the actual hours that you work. Do not write the full 8 hours down unless you actually work 8 hours in a day. If you're working 2 different jobs, combine your hours together. So if you're working 4 hours at one job and then on the same day you're working 4 hours at another, that total is 8 hours. So combine the 2 and mark that time off for your chart for yesterday. Also keep in mind you're going to be doing a chart for each day. So again, if you're working part-time but every day, you'll write those hours down for every day. But if you're not working every day, if your days are random, only mark off that time for the day that you're actually working. Now here's another thing we're going to consider. You got to get to the job. Unless you are working remotely, meaning that you're working at home, you have to drive to work or you have to drive to school. So you are allotted 30 minutes both ways, 30 minutes to go and 30 minutes to return. So mark off 1 hour for commute time. If your calendar is looking anything like mine, your time management chart, then you only have 6 hours, give or take, left. That's not a lot of time left in the day, and we still got a lot of things to get accomplished. Spend your time wisely. I'll see you for the next step. Hey there, so we're down to 6 hours left out of a 24-hour day, and we got some things that we need to do. We got some cooking that we need to do, some cleaning that we need to do, and we definitely want to reward ourselves with some relaxation. So let's get ready to get into this session of time management. We're trying to schedule our time in the rank of importance. So next up is cooking. It's important that we nourish our body for strength and energy throughout the day. So if you haven't learned this already, you soon will. What we eat does matter. While fast food is quick and easy, and it does save on time, it is not healthy for you. And in the long run, it'll end up burdening your body, weighing your body down with unnecessary fat and empty carbs. When we cook at home, we have better control over what we eat, and we know what we're eating. You don't always know what they're putting in this fast food, okay? You prep your meals ahead of time. It doesn't take that long. So think about it. How much time does it take you to cook a meal at home? Remember, you only have 6 hours, and you're only allotted 1 hour to cook and eat your meal, because we still got other stuff that we got to get done. By now, you are learning how to multitask. So we have 5 hours left, and you still have many demands on your time. Choose wisely, because we're running out of time. So far, we have worked hard, we have ate good, but now we need to clean up. This will be a great time for multitasking. Only have 5 hours left in the day, give or take how you used your time thus far. Just as a reminder, if you find that you need extra time, you can only deduct time from the hours that you spend sleeping. You are allotted 1 hour to clean. You have 4 hours left. Use it wisely. Where did the time go? We only have 4 hours left out of a 24-hour day. We have had a busy day. We have worked, we have cooked, we have cleaned, and finally we get a chance to have some R&R, some rest and relaxation. how will you spend your R&R? Will you go to the gym and work out? Will you hang out with some friends? Maybe go to a movie? Will you sit back at home and watch some sitcoms, some 30-minute sitcoms? Now, if you do that, you know you cannot watch just one. You have to watch a couple because they're like Lay's potato chips. You just can't have one. And then there's the news. We only got 2 hours. We're only allotted 2 hours for R&R, for our rest and relaxation. How will you spend your time? We are down to the last 2 hours, and we're at a crucial place now, because with these being our last 2 hours, how we choose to use them really do matter. So I want to take a moment and talk to you for a second before we look at these last choices. We live in a world where children cannot wait to grow up. They want to be grown because they think that it means that they can stay up as long as they want and do whatever they want. What the child doesn't know is that they are the ones that are truly free, carefree, and that the older one gets, the more responsibilities they are given. If they are not careful as they grow up, those responsibilities can turn into burdens. I've come to learn that being grown does not necessarily mean being mature. So today we have a lot of children with adult responsibilities. And today we also find that there are some grown-ups with some very immature ways. Regardless of how it happened, the counsel that we're given at Hebrews chapter 6 verse 1 is that we press on to maturity. Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6 tells us to train up a boy in the way that he should go, and when he becomes a man, he will not depart from it. This verse is not about age. It is not about raising a child until they get to be, 18 or 21? This verse is actually about becoming mature. It is about accountability. Being an adult is about being accountable in every area of our lives and making choices that reflect that accountability. In this YouTube course, you have seen that we have demonstrated accountability in various areas of our lives. For example, when you get a regular job that pays, one way that you show accountability is by showing up on time and ready to work. In order to do that, you must demonstrate accountability in making sure that you get to bed early so that you can get enough rest and wake up on time so that you can get ready and leave out on time. Another area where we demonstrate accountability is in what we eat. You see, what we eat affects our health. So being an adult means taking accountability for the choices that we make in various areas of our life, not just one. We must choose wisely. Second Peter chapter 1, verses 5 through 10 provides us with a formula for fruitful growth and maturity. Let's take a look at it. We have 2 hours left. So it is very important that we choose wisely how we spend that time, because we will be held accountable for the time that we spend. For this reason, we're going to take a second to examine what God's Word says about how to grow fruitfully. We will be looking at 2 Peter chapter 1, verses 5 through 11. Now these verses address our growing in faith, but one of the things I've come to learn is that when you can understand the principle of a thing, then you can apply it in every area of your life. As my husband says,
I can teach you to fish, or I can give you a fish sandwich.
2 Peter chapter 1 verse 5 lets us know that we need to give all diligence to what it is that we're about to learn. This means that we need to pay attention and work hard to apply the principles that we're getting ready to learn. The first thing that we address is our faith. Our faith is what we believe in. What is it that you believe in? To our faith, we are to add virtue. Now, virtue is our moral character. For example, are you honest? Are you patient? Are you kind? Are you trustworthy? Are you faithful or loyal? Are you charitable? These things and more is what virtue is. We're to add to our faith virtue. To our virtue, we are to add knowledge. Now, what this means is that we are to never stop learning, because the day that you stop learning, that will be the day that you stop growing. That will be the day that you will begin to decline. As Albert Einstein once said, the moment you stop learning is the moment that you start dying. To our knowledge, we are to add self-control. Now, this will be self-control of our desires, self-control of our emotions, and the hardest one, self-control of our mouth. To the self-control, we are to add perseverance. This means that we do not give up No matter how hard the trial may be, don't give up, don't give out. To our perseverance, we add godliness. This means that we go back to the beginning and we start over. We don't stop just because we got to the end and figure, okay, I know it all. It was one thing to know it, but now we have to practice it. So over and over and over again, faith, virtue, knowledge, self-control, perseverance, godliness, 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 over and over and over and over again. You're practicing that within yourself. Now you are ready for the next step. As you're practicing these dimensions over and over and over again, now you're ready to add on being a friend, which is brotherly kindness. Now keep in mind that not everyone is working on these different dimensions that you're working on. This means that two things are going to come into play. Number one, you're going to have to make a choice and decide whether or not you want to enter into a friendship with this person, whoever it is that you meet with the next person. You can choose. You can choose. Listen, God's word tells us in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33, that bad associations spoils useful habits. The useful habits is faith, virtue, knowledge, self-control, perseverance, godliness. Those are good habits that we are developing within ourselves. And so you have to be mindful of who it is that you're choosing to align yourself with as a friend, because if you align yourself with somebody who is not demonstrating these qualities, have no desire to, not even one of the qualities, bad associations can spoil useful habits. It can cause you to stop or slack up in faith, virtue, knowledge, self-control, perseverance, godliness. It can cause you to slow down in practicing those things. Second point is that in this newly formed friendship, you're still going to have to demonstrate these qualities yourself, because that has become who you are as you are a human being. So you have to continue to demonstrate these qualities. But what you're going to find is in this friendship, if you choose to move forward in this friendship, you're going to find that you're going to at times be challenged to demonstrate these qualities, not just for yourself, but for your friend. For example, faith is your believing in your friend. Remember, faith is about believing. What do you believe? And so when you're called to believe in your friend for whatever that they want to do, that's your faith. Virtue is how you show up in this friendship. Will you be loyal? Will you be honest? Will you be trustworthy? Will you be kind? To your faith, believing in the friend now as well as in yourself, because you're already manifesting these dimensions for yourself. So as you're believing in your friend, how are you showing up in that friendship? What is that virtue? To your virtue, you add knowledge. So in the case of the friend now, you want to get to know them, know their personality, know their characteristics, know them. To the knowledge, you're going to now add self-control. You're going to have to sometimes control yourself. Sometimes your friend will want to introduce you to things that is not beneficial to you. And there are going to be times where you're going to have to demonstrate that self-control and say, no, I can't do that. No. The next thing is perseverance. There are going to be some times that you're going to have to endure some things. Remember, you're getting to know your friend, and your friend is getting to know you. And there's going to be some times that you're not going to always agree on things. There's going to be some times where you have different ideas and different values in reference to certain things. So there are going to be some times where you're going to have to endure maybe offense. You know, when offense shows up in the friendship, will that end the friendship, or can you forgive and move forward still with the friendship? How is your endurance level when it comes to this friendship? I am reminded of at this point what the Apostle Peter said. It was a conversation that he had with King Jesus. That conversation is found in Matthew chapter 18, verse 21 through 22. The Apostle Peter said to King Jesus, he said, how many times am I supposed to forgive? 7 times? And the response that King Jesus gave him was not 7 times, but 70 times 7, meaning that the forgiveness was to be unlimited. And so with perseverance, with self-control, with perseverance, with knowledge, virtue, and faith, there are going to be times where you're going to be called upon to demonstrate these areas. And that next area is godliness. The godliness in you is that you'll be able to forgive. You'll be long-suffering. You know, you'll be forgiving towards this person. You'll show up and be gracious toward this person. You'll be kind, towards this person, like continually. That's how you will show up. It's not about them. It's about you, because that's the qualities that you're working on. Remember, we're looking at 2 Peter chapter 1, verses 5 through 11. As you continue to demonstrate these qualities for yourself, and as you continue to show up now in a friendship where you're demonstrating these qualities now in a friendship, the growing that you're doing and the growing that happens in the friendship, the flourishing, will lead you to that next step, which is love. As you continue to demonstrate these qualities for yourself, and as you continue to show up now in a friendship where you're demonstrating these qualities now in a friendship, the growing that you're doing and the growing that happens in the friendship, the flourishing, will lead you to that next step, which is love. At this point, I would like to read to you what 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 5 through 11 says. So, reading from the New King James Version, it says, "But also for this very reason, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, to virtue knowledge, to knowledge self-control, to self-control perseverance, to perseverance godliness, to godliness brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness love. For if these things are yours and abound," that means that it's overflowing. That means you're continuing to do it. "If these things are yours and abound, you will be neither barren nor unfruitful in the knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. For he who lacks these things is short-sighted even to blindness, and has forgotten that he has cleansed from his old sins. Therefore, brethren, be even more diligent to make your call and election sure. For if you do these things, you will never stumble. For so an entrance will be supplied to you abundantly into the everlasting kingdom of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Let us now consider these next 2 hours and how we will spend them. So we just finished considering 2 Peter chapter 1 verses 5 through 11, and it was really important that we did that, because what I don't think we realize is that we just spent 22 hours out of a 24-hour day on ourselves. Now let me clarify this, because many would beg to differ that the time that we just calculated, the 22 hours, was spent on ourselves, especially if we have families and children. By the time we spent sleeping, we won't argue that that wasn't for ourselves, but everything else, the cooking, the cleaning, the work that one would leave their home to do, you would argue that, no, I don't do this for myself, I do this for my family. But this is what I would want you to consider. If there were no children, if there was no significant other, you would still work, cook, and clean. And you would do that for yourself. That is why it was important for us to take that moment to look at 2 Peter chapter 1 verses 5 through 11, so that we can remember that we are individuals. We tend to lose ourselves in caring for others, but we got to remember we're still individuals. So I like how my husband would say that if I don't take care of myself, how can I help somebody else? So we have to first look at ourselves, and then we'll begin that next part of adding the relationship of a significant other and children. So I think we've spent enough time on ourselves, 22 hours. Let's consider relationships.
My child, I want to spend time with you. I have so much to show you and give to you. I know the plans I have for you, to prosper you and to give you a future and a hope. Don't forget about me. I want to spend some time with you.
We started off by viewing our time with a single perspective. Now it's time that we add. Relationships actually do have an impact on our time. It could be positive or it could be negative, and we're going to look at both. Now, when I say relationships, I'm not talking about friendships. I am talking about your intimate, your romantic relationships and the responsibilities that come from them. Now, the reason why I'm not talking about friendships is because, do you remember the 2 hours that we factored for rest and relaxation? Well, it's during that time that we can choose whether or not we want to hang out with some friends. So they will be included in that time and not in this time that we're going to consider now. I also want to remind you that the time allotments that I've been using are what has been set in this book, 24 hours. They're generalized so that anybody can take this book and use it to apply it to their own situations. But the time allotments are also dynamic, meaning that they are changeable. That way you can fit them for your actual day. Meaning the 8 hour, like for instance, for example, the 8 hours of sleep. I don't know anybody that actually gets 8 hours sleep. I actually get 4 hours. So the 8 hours sleep, that 8 hours is set, but you would use how many hours you sleep, which means that if you sleep 4 hours, but you're given 8 hours, you have 4 extra hours to work with. The 8 hours is set. You cannot go beyond those 8 hours, but you can fall under those 8 hours and take that time that you have extra and use it somewhere else. I also want to let you know that if you're down to 22 hours, as I am for this particular skit, for this particular course, and you find that you need extra time, you can take that extra time from your sleep area. Many times that's what we do when we're doing something. We will sacrifice our sleep in order to finish doing whatever it is that we need to do. So the time can be taken from the area of sleep. You can't take it from your work, which is the other area where we have the most hours that are spent, unless you have a vacation day and you have that day off from work. But other than that, you cannot take hours from your work or your commute time, because if you're late from work, that'll cause you problems that would deduct from the money that you earn. So the only other area that we do have where we have a lot of hours spent that we can sacrifice some of those hours from is our sleep area. So this brings me back to today, and once again, you've heard me say this a lot. We have 2 hours left and we got to figure out how we're going to use it. Up until now, it has been all about us. But what happens when you decide that you want to include somebody else on your time, in your life? Who do you include? Doesn't matter. With only 2 hours left in our day, do we even have time for a relationship? Let's discuss this now. It's natural to desire to want to date, get married, and have children. As we look at the impact that entering into a relationship would have on our time, I want to focus more on marriage than on dating, and here's why. Remember how we talked about time stealers? And remember how when we were discussing 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 5 through 11, we mentioned how at that point where we are adding friends, that we also have to make sure that we're exercising self-control, because sometimes those friends will try to introduce things to us that is not beneficial for us. Well, dating is a time stealer. Now, let me explain. So in video 8, where we actually discussed 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 5 through 11, we mentioned how not everyone is working on the 6 dimensions of growth. Everybody doesn't even know about these, but we do. And it is important that we continue to work on faith, virtue, knowledge, self-control, perseverance, and godliness, and that we continue to show up even as we are adding friendships into the mix. It's important that we continue to show up and continue to work on those 6 dimensions regardless of how anyone else shows up. So in video 8, where we actually discussed 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 5 through 11, we mentioned how not everyone is working on the 6 dimensions of growth. Everybody doesn't even know about these, but we do. And it is important that we continue to work on faith, virtue, knowledge, self-control, perseverance, and godliness, and that we continue to show up even as we are adding friendships into the mix. It's important that we continue to show up and continue to work on those 6 dimensions regardless of how anyone else shows up. As we do that, what we're doing is we're presenting ourselves in such a way that we would add value to the relationship or friendship. But sometimes in a relationship, the other person who might not be working on these 6 dimensions also might show up with a mask on their face. They might show up as lust. When lust shows up, it is a thief. It is a stealer, a waster of time. Lust is selfish. Lust will lure a person into a relationship thinking that they're getting something other than what they're actually going to end up with. Lust will demand of your time and your attention, which is why it is such a time waster, time stealer. Lust has no intention on adding value to the relationship, which is why marriage would never be an end result where lust shows up. If you find that you have been lured into building a relationship with someone who showed up as lust, and if you find that you did not exercise self-control, or you did not even manage your time, you might find that one of 2 things would happen, or even both. Number 1, you might find yourself losing yourself in that relationship. Number 2, you might discover that you have become collateral damage. in that relationship. What I mean by collateral damage is that many times where lust has entered in, that relationship ends up ending. When lust has gotten everything that it wants, it ends up leaving, but it might end up leaving you with extra responsibilities that you did not have at first. As an example, single parenthood. This is why I said that we would consider the remainder of this time that is left and how we would spend it with the mentality or the idea of entering into a marital relationship, because that way when we discuss the children that come into the relationship, it is a balance of how that is handled, because it's easier to handle or deal with children when you have help in a marriage than when you're trying to deal with children, raising children as a single parent. Now remember, you only have 2 hours left in a 24-hour day. Now I know that there's 7 days in a week, but each one of those days has its own 24 hours. You cannot carry any of the time over that you did not use on that first day. Where dating can steal one's time, marriage actually adds value to the time that you have. Because marriage is a commitment when two join together and commit to one another in marriage. They're committing to share their time in sickness and in health, in good and in bad, until death do them part. While they joyfully sacrifice their sleep time, when it comes to areas like cooking and cleaning, that is a shared experience, and it is in those areas that they save time. As a married couple, you gain 30 minutes each. Now be careful and be mindful of the decisions that you make as a married couple, because the time that you spend now will affect you both individually as well as collectively. And don't forget, unprotected love brings about unplanned consequences. Are you paying attention? Will you spend your time wisely? Have you already decided how to spend your 2 hours?
My child, Did you forget about me? Will you spend some time in my presence? What about me?
Before we consider how to spend those last 2 hours, I want to take a minute and discuss a little further the demands that comes on your time when you, in a marriage, decide to add the blessing of a child or two. This is what was shared in this book, 24 Hours. Love produces children who are born selfish and demanding of one's time. But they are so cute. Because the children are so cute, many don't stop with one child. They want 2 or maybe more. Don't forget that you still haven't decided how to spend your last 2 hours. Continuing on, it says, remember that a child is selfish and demanding. It's not intentional. They need time. They need attention. They need training and discipline so that they can learn how and where they fit in life's grand scheme of things. Also, if you haven't learned how to spend your time, know that it's going to be spent on the children first, regardless of how you feel. And therefore, some other areas will be deducted from of that time because the child comes first. To give you an example, sleep deprivation. That's one of the first things to go when a child comes into the mix. Sleep deprivation. Another thing that goes is your R&R time, your time of rest and relaxation. Them 2 hours that you had, it's no longer yours. It belongs to the child. And then the cleanliness of the home might suffer. When you spend all day trying to deal with a child, some things fall off. So, yeah. Many adjust fairly well to the added demands that children bring to a family. They couldn't imagine their lives to be any other way. They are a unit of love because they have figured out how to make it work. But many more, sad to say, don't make it through that period of adjustment.
Hey, did you forget about me? Will you spend some time in my presence? What about me?
More and more, I am seeing why it is so important that we stop the way we did to look at 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 5 through 11 and consider how to practically apply that verse to ourselves first as individuals. Here it states, you see, we tend to be selfish with our time. We start off by spending all of our time on ourselves. As such, we tend to forget that when we enter into relationships, time must now be shared and equally decided upon as to how it should be spent. Okay, so here's a little sidebar note. Remember those questions that I was asking about why it is that some relationships does not seem to stay together where a child enters into the picture? Well, if you are in a relationship where you are still with your baby's other parent, I have to say like that other parent because I don't know like who's watching, if it would be the father watching or the mother watching. But if you're still in that marriage, if you're still together, then what I shared here is this. You need to be teaching others strategies. Number 1, how to navigate the feelings of neglect and jealousy that relationships incur when a child comes into the world. Number 2, how to communicate how one is feeling without blaming the other. Number 3, how to successfully create an amended time schedule for the individual, the couple, and the family. And then here is my thoughts for fourth one. Now, this fourth one is not listed, it's listed in the book, but my thought is you need to also find out what works for you both individually and as a couple. Or I would guess you would describe this as how to compromise so that you are equally sharing in the division of time. So that the marriage can continue to grow. Okay, back to the issue at hand. Let's pause here, and I want to say to you that if you feel that the time allotments are reasonable, then you're ready to continue towards how we're going to spend this next 2 hours. But if you feel that my time allotments have been unreasonable, then again, like we said earlier, feel free to adjust the time. But keep in mind that you only have 2 hours left. And your marriage mate is going to want some time. Your child is going to want some time. So this is what we did this time, because they both need quality time and connection. The children need time and attention as well as your marriage partner. So to the marriage mate, they get 30 minutes of your time. And to the child, each child, we're gonna give you 2. We're going to say you have 2. Each child gets 15 minutes. So that's 30 minutes. So that's an hour that you will be deducting from your 2 hours.
Hey, did you forget about me? Will you spend some time in my presence?
You only have 2 hours left. Let's take a look at how you've spent your time thus far. So, how do you think you're doing so far? Let's not forget to spend some time reconnecting and staying connected with our extended family members, our elderly parents, aunts, uncles, cousins. Listen, they need our time and love too. So we don't want to forget that you have extended family members too, as well as friends, and they're going to want some of your time too. But here's the deal with them. Remember that rest and relaxation time, the 2 hours that we had there. Listen, this is what multitasking come in. You can use that 2 hours to spend with family members or to spend with friends. And here's the deal too. You're going to want to remind them to be on time. To be on time. Because when they're late, they are taking from your time, your allotment. Whenever we're late, they're wasting your time, especially if all you have is 2 hours, because then they're going to want some extra time, but you have this allotted time. So in a sense, that's stealing. And we also need to be mindful and respectful of others too when it comes to their time for the same reasons. Now, we talked about what the allotment was for the marriage mate as well as for the children, and you probably felt some type of way about that. I'm going to say it again. The allotment for the marriage mate was 30 minutes. The allotment for the children, we're giving you 2, was 15 minutes each. 15 minutes each, so that's 30 minutes also. So that's the hour you're taking away from the 2 hours, leaving you with 1 hour left. Now, you might feel that's not enough time to spend with a child. Like, that's unreasonable. That makes no sense. But we're talking about quality time where they're speaking and you're looking directly at them, paying attention. We're talking about quality time. Again, don't forget that there is 2 hours rest and relaxation time that you have that can easily be spent with the marriage partner or with the children. Like, however you want to spend that 2 hours of rest and relaxation, you can. But this 15 minutes for the 2 children and the 30 minutes is quality time. It's communication time. It's time spent just talking. So we're down to the last hour. And the question is, how will you spend that? Your last hour. Will you spend it with your parents, your in-laws? Will you spend it with your friends? Will you spend it with your extended family members? How will you spend that last hour?
Hey, did you forget about me? Will you spend some time in my presence? What about me?
So we're down to the last hour. And the question is, how will you spend that? Your last hour. Will you spend it with your parents, your in-laws? Will you spend it with your friends? Will you spend it with your extended family members? How will you spend that last hour?
Don't forget about me. I want to spend some time with you.
Now, here is something that we have not considered. The entire time while we've been looking at how time has been spent, what we did not consider was this. Will you spend some time with God today? What are you going to do with that 1 hour? Out of a 24-hour day, is 1 hour enough to give back to God? Before you answer that question, I want to take a moment to go back over the time that you have already spent. Again, our time allotments are for demonstration purposes only, so that we can see, get a visual of how our time is being spent.
Did you forget about me?
So time is like money. And one of the things that I've learned with money is that if you don't assign your money, then you will lose it. And so the same thing with time. We need to assign our time. And that's what we've been doing when we've given 8 hours to sleep, 8 hours to work, time for commute, which is an hour, 30 minutes to and fro, cook time, cleaning time, personal hygiene time, with all of these different areas, rest and relaxation time, family time, with all of these areas, we are assigning our time so that we can be good stewards over our time. First, I want to take this time to thank you for watching and taking my very first YouTube course. It was inspired by my playlist, podcast, if you want to call it, Malachi 3 studies. In specific, it was videos 31 through 33, I believe 30 through 33, where we looked intently at Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. I'd like to read that to you now. Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 10, reading from the New King James Version, says, "Will a man rob God? Yet you have robbed me. But you say, in what way have we robbed you? In tithes and offerings. You are cursed with a curse, for you have robbed me, even this whole nation. Bring all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. And try me now in this, says the Lord of hosts, if I will not open for you the windows of heaven and pour out for you such blessing that there would not be room enough to receive it." God said that we were robbing him in the area of tithes and offerings. The offerings, we learned, is what you bring in, therefore, aka income. If you look at verse 10 again, notice that it didn't say to bring in the offerings. It said to bring in the tithes. So that raises the question, what is the tithes? What is it that we have of value that we have not been bringing in? Listen, our paper money has no value to someone who owns everything. And as we learned in the earlier videos of this course, there is something that is more valuable than money. And we learned what that was: time. This is why I began to pay attention to our 24 hours and how it is that we use it, more so myself, how it is that I use my 24 hours. And I thought that this would be something good to share, especially because when we mishandle our time, we find ourselves, as God says, under a curse. Verse 9, he said, the whole nation were under a curse because we haven't been mishandling our time. As you look at your time spent during a day, how much time have you spent with God? Reading his word, sitting before him in prayer. How much time have you given to sitting in the presence of the Lord? Last year, I worked on a series entitled The 5 Waves of Discipline, based off of Leviticus chapter 26, verses 14 through 33. In that study, we learned of what the curses were. Remember, in Malachi chapter 3, verse 9, God says that we're cursed with a curse. So we see what those curses are in Leviticus chapter 26, verses 16 through 33. Verse 14 and 15 tells us what it is that we're doing to cause that. I am currently working on a study. It's called Something Old, Something New. And I'm back in Leviticus chapter 26, but this time I'm looking at verses 1 through 13. And in those verses, it starts off by letting us know what it is that we needed to do in order to receive of the blessings. What God asks of us is not difficult at all. As a matter of fact, I would like to share this with you from Leviticus chapter 26. It's verse 3, and then it's verse 14 and 15. So verse 3 says, if you walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and perform them. And then it says then, and it goes on to list the various blessings from verses 4 all the way down to verse 13. But I would like to pick up at verse 14 and 15 and share this with you. God says, but if you do not obey me, and do not observe all these commandments. And if you despise my statutes, or if your soul abhors my judgments, so that you do not perform all my commandments, but break my covenant, I will also do this to you. And it goes on to list the curses. So he's asking of us simply to pay attention to what he says, pay attention to his word, walk in his statutes. Statutes are written laws. There were 10. We know them as the 10 commandments. It says, walk in my statutes, keep my commandments, and perform them. That's all he's asking of us to do. That's it. It's not hard. But we cannot walk in something that we're not reading and paying attention to. We cannot read God's word once and think that we've read it. When we walk, because remember he says to walk in my statutes. When we walk, it's not taking one step and then you don't step anymore. That's not walking. Walking is when you put one foot in front of the other and you continue to move step after step. That's walking. So this is a daily thing, not once a week, but daily, spending time with God. That is what we have been robbing God of, our time. Now, you have 1 hour left. You might have more. You might have more. But for this course, as we went down the hours and we allotted time, there's 1 hour left. And listen, it's up to you. God gave you that time. It is definitely up to you. But also understand that there's going to come a time that we're going to be held accountable for what we did with our time that God gave to us. How did we spend it? And you see that in Matthew chapter 25. I would like to share this with you, and I would like to end with this. And again, I thank you for taking part of this course. So this is Matthew chapter 25. And it is the parable of talents. So I'm going to start reading from verse number 14. It says, "For the kingdom of heaven is like a man traveling to a far country, who called his own servants and delivered his goods to them. And to one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to each according to his own ability. And immediately he went on a journey. Then he who had received the 5 talents went and traded with them, and made another 5 talents. And likewise, he who had received 2 gained 2 more also. But he who had received 1 went and dug in the ground and hid his Lord's money. After a long time, the Lord of those servants came and settled accounts with them. So he who had received 5 talents came and brought 5 other talents, saying, Lord, you delivered to me 5 talents. Look, I have gained 5 more talents beside them. His Lord said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of your Lord. He also who had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, you delivered to me 2 talents, and look, I have gained 2 more talents besides them. His Lord said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things, and enter into the joy of your Lord. Then he who had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you had not sown, and gathering where you had not scattered seed. And I was afraid, and went and hid your talents in the ground. Look, there you have what is yours. And his Lord answered and said to him, You wicked and lazy servant, you knew that I reap where I have not sown, and gather where I have not scattered. So you ought to have deposited my money with the bankers, and at my coming, I would have received back my own with interest. So take the talent from him, and give it to him who has 10 talents. For to everyone who has more will be given, and he will have abundance. But from him who does not have, even what he has will be taken away. And cast the unprofitable servant into the outer darkness. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. The unprofitable servant was cast into outer darkness, the one who did not manage well that which was given to him. It says here talents, and then in the judgment of the one who had the one talent and did nothing with it but buried it in the ground can be us. That's when we keep our talents to ourselves, or spend all of our time, as we're doing in that course that we just took, spend all of that time on ourselves, on things that are not profitable. Will God find us not being profitable? So anyway, thank you again for taking the course. I really appreciate it. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, feel free to share, invite others to check the course out. Talk to others about it, about managing the time. And yeah. All right. Thank you again. Bye for now. I really appreciate you guys spending your time with me. Bye.
To whoever may need this nugget of encouragement, things will be alright, so quit your worry. I get it, the odds can stack back against the wall, but even consider it such, know you'll stand tall. Sat and watch from the sidelines one too many times. Wicked games to play, make me wanna lose my mind. Found solitude, knowing it'll be over soon. Ever need a boost, count on me for the 1-2. Trouble don't last when the tough get going. Baby, all we do is win, so show me my opponent. Adversity, doubt, stress, could care less, cause how we handle those like an S on our chest. Super proud of how we held it down on the way up. Can't wait for our day to ball, this is a layup. Nobody ever said this would be easy, but trust when I say that you got it. I know you've been looking for a breakthrough, trying our best to make do. Every day is something new, but change gon' come, oh yes it's true. Brighter days are straight ahead. Follow me, won't be misled. Just look up, don't hang your head, and we'll get to the promised land. Somebody loves you, please don't forget such. Take your time, no need to feel rushed. We gon' shine somehow one day. Word to O'Shea, today's been a good day. Don't let one bad apple spoil the tree. The fruits of our labor seem ripe, can't you see? A little insight so they'll never dim your light. Been wrong for too long, this here feels so right. Leave your fears in the rear view, right now on the mission. Tryna stay the course on this road to redemption. Giving up seems tempting, but no need, cause I got you and you got me. A little UNITY will get us by. Through the storm and the rain, I'll be by your side. Look alive, the best has yet to come. Just some words of wisdom, plenty more. I know you've been looking for a breakthrough, trying our best to make do. Every day is something new, but change gon' come, oh yes it's true. Brighter days are straight ahead. Follow me, won't be misled. Just look up, don't hang your head, and we'll get to the promise, yeah. And it may seem like things ain't working out, but I know we gon' find a way without a doubt.